I am going to get started. First of all, welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you all here with us today. This is probably our fourth or fifth, I can't even remember at this point, monthly Center for Economic Empowerment workshop that we have been putting on, and we have had some amazing guests joining us on all different types of topics like budgeting, like credit scores and everything. And so we're just so excited to keep this going. I am going to talk about at the end of this the next opportunity to join us. So please look forward to that. And as you are engaged with us on Facebook or any of our social media accounts, please share this information so that everybody gets the opportunity to join us for these really informative sessions. So with that being said, just to go over a few norms, everyone's microphones at this point is on mute just so we can respect our speaker and there's not a whole lot of background noise. However, at any time you want to engage with our speaker, ask questions or whatever the case may be, feel free to unmute yourself and share out. We would love to hear your voice, but also feel free to ask all those questions in the chat. If our speaker happens to miss something, I'll be that point person that will show her or let her know what your questions are or what you're thinking, so that your voices are heard. So at any time, feel free to unmute yourself or use our chat box to initiate conversation or ask questions. Also, your cameras are welcome, especially a large part of us. We're all family at this point. So we would love to see your faces. You guys know I'm in Virginia, so I have not seen you guys in a really long time. So I am loving just seeing your faces and your smiles. So feel free to show us your face. Just to let you know, we are video recording this. However, only the speaker can be seen during the recording, so you don't have to worry about being on camera on the video and then posted to our social media. It's exclusively for the speakers who are going to be coming on. However, feel free to share the video as it is posted to those social media accounts. Okay, so this workshop is brought to you by the Center for Economic Empowerment at Love Zion. For those of you who don't know, the Center for Economic Empowerment at Love Zion really provides training and resources, really aiming to provide economic resources for the community members around our church in North Philadelphia and the greater Philadelphia area. We have been offering since the pandemic a series of workshops aimed to really provide resources, give information, or as much as possible for those who might be struggling during this time or need some of this assistance. So you can find all of our videos from our webinars on our Facebook page, which is CEE at Love Zion, or on our YouTube page. I will paste all of this in here. Our last month's workshop was so awesome because it was about the interview process, and we know so many of our church members as well as community members who are engaging back into the workforce after the pandemic and the hustle and bustle of the start of the pandemic has started to calm down a little bit. And we've also attached a lot of resources for who's hiring, so that people can actually use those interview skills. And now we're really going to be talking about, once you nail that interview, what's up with the extra income? How can you create alternative sources of income to supplement the money that you get from your job in order to reach your long-term economic goals? So with that being said, I'm going to introduce our speaker. And I'm so happy to have Ms. Jett here today, because not only is she going to be an awesome speaker and she's a great entrepreneur, but she's also a sister and a friend. And just being able to work with her is always a pleasure that I have. So to introduce her, Ms. Jett is an entrepreneur. She is an all-around modern day Renaissance woman. When I tell you, this girl knows how to do so many different things, has her hand in a little bit of everything, can give you so much guidance about just a little bit of everything. It's ridiculous. Like, anytime you have any questions about any kind of business opportunity, you can definitely call her and she has something to provide, or she can definitely point you in the right direction. So Ms. Jett is a real estate agent and investment manager, among many other things. She's also the owner, CEO, founder, executive, all of those other things, of Ty's Tasty Treats, a sweet treat boutique and kitchen. In 2017, she became a real estate agent, helping many families achieve the dream of home ownership. I know firsthand because she was there for me. In 2019, Tyisha purchased her first investment property and became a landlord. Teaching others how to grow their money is one of her many passions. This has led her to start of an investment group. She has been fortunate to learn a lot about business as a teenager and loves passing on her wisdom. This says for teens because she was one of our teen workshop leaders for our Securing the Bag 2020 mini conference. But she definitely loves sharing her knowledge with adults as well and whoever else is open to having her. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to her. So please give her a warm welcome. I know you can't clap because she can't hear you, but if you can give her some snaps, give her some shine, give her, a raise in the roof or something so that she knows that you guys are excited to hear her come on. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Jett.
Hi, everyone. So everything Jesse said was wonderful. But we're not even here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you guys and how you can get to this money. So I'm going to share my screen so that you guys can see the PowerPoint. So today we're talking about side hustles. And hold on one second. Share. There we go. Can you guys see the screen? Okay, cool. So we're talking about side hustles and how you can secure alternate sources of income. Now, I want to start by saying, first and foremost, if this is a disclaimer, if you're on here because you think Tyisha has the magic rules on how to get rich, this may not be the Zoom for you. But if you're on here to get how to bring in extra money, then I got the keys for you, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is a side hustle versus a business, because the two are typically used interchangeably, but they're not the same. The first thing is that a side hustle, and these are my definitions as I've learned them over the years, it's a way to make money outside of your 9 to 5. The key word is outside. A business, however, is a way to create an opportunity to replace your 9 to 5. Because they often get interchangeably, but they're not. A side hustle is, how can I get to this money now? Because I have something going on that I need to take care of now. And not a business is a longer term. So I definitely want you guys to just first and foremost think about that, because I know we use those terms interchangeably, but they are not the same. Also, you're going to hear this, but I'm not the one saying this. A side hustle, you kind of don't have to tell the IRS. A business, they want to know all your business. So keep that in mind when you're using the terms, because you have to have licenses and LLCs in order to be a business. But a side hustle, you can do that out your house with no problem. So how do you choose the right side hustle? Well, I'm glad you guys asked. Let me tell you. The first thing is, what's your why? Now, I know in a lot of speeches and motivational speeches, you hear people say your big why. And what's that? What does it look like for you? This is not your big why. This is your small why. But it is definitely the factor that drives your side hustle. It's your small why, because a side hustle, like we stated, is outside of your 9 to 5, which could easily be, I don't make enough money to pay my car note. I don't make enough money to pay daycare. I don't make enough money to go on vacation. So a side hustle is, your why for that is not the same as your why for a business. For me, like stated earlier, I'm the owner of Tyisha Treats. That is my business. And my why for that is very large, just to pass it down to my daughter and leave a legacy for my family. But within my business, I also do something called Foodie Fridays, which is platters. That is a side hustle. And the why for that is because Tyisha Treats has bills that needs to be paid. And it can't come from my paycheck. So I hope you guys are able to see the difference as to what's your small why. I probably should have put small, but what's your small why as to why you want to start a side hustle. So that's the first thing, the first step that you need to be thinking about when you're trying to choose the right side hustle for you. The second thing is, what are your talents, skills, or hobbies? A side hustle, again, is outside of your 9 to 5. So it has to be something that you're okay coming home with, and being able to do on a daily basis or on your time off. You don't want to create a side hustle that's something that's strenuous, that you don't feel like doing, that you don't like. You know, it has to be enjoyable, because then this is when people can really feel when you like something or when you do something great. And so you take your talents, your skills, your hobbies, write them down, think about it, look and see what other people are doing within those same type of skill set that you have, and choose from that. Definitely do not try to go out. I'm not a pottery barn person, so I'm not about to go out here and try to learn how to make mugs just to sell them. Because then when I don't want to, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I don't like it, I'm going to throw it to the side. But you can ask me to cook at 12 o'clock midnight, and Thanksgiving will be prepared for you guys, because that is enjoyable to me. So you definitely want to think about, what are your talents, what are your skills, and what are your hobbies? Write them down. I'm not saying you're going to do all of them, but you need to know exactly which ones you're interested in doing. Okay, so the third thing is, you want to find others that are in your lane, or in the field, or in the business, or doing what you want to do. When you narrow it down, and you say, you know, okay, my skill is painting, you need to be on everybody's Instagram that sells paints, that's selling artwork, that's doing anything similar to what you want to do. Reason being, you need to know what is out here. What is people looking at? What are people doing in Philadelphia or wherever you are that is similar to what you want to do? Because there's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's no need to, you know, if it's working for other people, it will work for you. If it worked for McDonald's, it worked for Burger King. So no need to come out and start all over unless you got something that's great. Budget. The reason why you also want to look at other people and see what they're doing is because you need to know what they're charging, how much your products is going to cost, how much people are willing to pay. Because you may think, you know, your artwork is worth $1,000. Everybody else may think that it's worth $25. So then that means you need to rearrange what you're willing to spend and how it's going to let you make more money. Because if what you want to charge is different than what people are willing to spend, then there's a disconnect. And the only way you will know, I would rather you go on other people's pages and find out what they're doing and then create a budget, as opposed to you buying all the products, you having a sale, and you don't make any money. So now you're upside down in your side hustle and you done wasted money. And that doesn't feel good for anyone. It doesn't feel good for your pocket. It doesn't feel good for your why. And then it actually starts to question your confidence in what you're willing to do. So I definitely want you guys to definitely think about that. You have to price everything and put it in your budget, because a side hustle should not pull a lot from your regular paycheck. It shouldn't have to pull a lot from, now the initial cost may, but as it's ongoing, it shouldn't be able to sustain itself. It should not be, okay, I'm not going to pay my electric bill because I need to buy some weave to braid this hair this weekend. That should never happen. Once you create this budget, you should be able to pull everything together and know your price to cost ratio. And that is how you start to develop whether or not you're going to make a profit. Create the plan. So again, like I said, you want to go on, I don't know if what you're doing works for Instagram, or maybe what you're doing or selling may work for an Etsy store. You have to create the plan and know exactly how you have to do it. Some side hustles have to use a vendor. You have to be a vendor fair. You have to do every vendor event in order to make your money. But you have to know exactly where your lane is. Because what's my lane may not be what your lane is. What's happening in Philadelphia may not be what's happening in Texas. So you really have to sit and create the plan so that you know exactly what you're trying to do. and how you're going to do it and how you're going to execute it and how you're ultimately going to make the money. So the last thing on choosing the right side hustle is give samples and discounts. Now, I know people don't like to give out free stuff. We think that everything should be paid for. We need to make our money back on everything. But in all honesty, samples and discounts are what drive your side hustle. Number one, they create returning customers. Because if you give me a sample, I have someone, they sell candles. And within my candle box, I had all kinds of samples in there. The next time they sold candles, I bought so much more things than just the candles because of the samples they gave me. Not because I had already had these products, not because I even needed them. I probably shouldn't have spent the money, but I did. So I'm telling you, giving samples will help create returning customers. Also, giving samples create free feedback or a free focus group. When you give someone a sample and it's free, they're more likely to tell you if they like it or if they don't like it. If you pay for it and you don't like it, you just probably won't come back. So now a person can't tweak it. They can't, you can't adjust the formula or adjust your braiding style or whatever your particular side hustle is. You can't do that because a lot of people, when they pay for stuff, they just make the conscious decision to not return. When you give free stuff, they're coming back and they're telling you freely, I didn't like those string beans, they were a little salty. Okay. Or I love this, how can I buy it again? It's very a mind thing, a mindset thing, unfortunately, in business and inside hustles, but you need to be able to do that. And like I said, for everybody, you can't do a free sample. So sometimes it's just a discount. If you're a hair braider and you need to braid some hair, first and foremost, you probably need pictures, because I am not going to anyone to get my hair done if I've never seen your work. So if someone's coming to you and you flat out want to charge them that $160 for the Beyonce hairstyle, but you've never done it before, that may be an issue. But if you give them a discount and you mess up, they may be okay with, okay, she made them too big, but that's all right. Or it's a way for you to practice what you need to be doing. At all times with a side hustle, you need to be making money. So I would rather you make some money on a discount and get the pictures and get the free focus group and get a returning customer than not do it. Okay, I'm hitting the laptop. And not do it, and it don't work. So I guess the laptop's taking us to our next conversation. Any questions on how to find your hustle? No? Okay. Cool.
Yes, I have a question, ma'am.
Yes.
How do you find your niche, right? Oftentimes we like something for the moment and realize, yeah, I don't really like this anymore. Do you have any pointers on finding what really works for you? Thank you.
So finding your niche is it's just going to be a play. You're going to have to try some things because, like, for instance, like I said, I sell the platters on my Foodie Fridays. And if I take off a couple of items, I'm not going to make any sales. But we've had all kinds of things on our menu, and I've spent lots of money, and it's not worked. We used to sell roast beef sandwiches and soup and all of this kind of stuff that I think is really good. But your clientele will definitely tell you if it's going to work. So that's more so why you want to do these samples or these discounts, because those are the things when you're going to learn what really works and what doesn't work. Because we all might think everything we do is great, but other people may say, yeah, that's just okay. You need to change it, or you need to tweak it, or you need to do it this way. People will definitely tell you what they like. Even though, like I said, we may think what we like is golden, it may not be. So like I said, you want to find all the people on Instagram that's doing it, because everybody's not doing everything the same way, but they may be doing things similar. So you find it, you look at it, you see if it works for you. If it doesn't, or your customers or your clientele, if it doesn't, then you need to tweak it. That's more so how you would find your niche. Did that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, thank you for sharing.
Okay, so getting to the bag, which is the whole purpose of a side hustle. We not here for nothing. We here to make this money. So we want to get to the bag. So the very first thing that you need to do is set clear goals. In everything in life, you need to set clear goals. And I use the SMART goal method, which is to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time. You definitely want to be specific, because you want to know, what are you selling? What are you trying to do as your side hustle? If you out here, you know, wailing in the wind, then you're not going to get the goal or achieve the financial goal that you need to make. It has to be measurable. The only way we know if a goal is working is to be able to measure it. And with a side hustle, you measure it by profit or loss. So either I'm making money or I'm losing money, which allows me to go back to my first step, which is being specific, and change it if it's wrong. If it's right, then I can keep going. And to be attainable, you cannot say, oh, you know what, I'm doing a side hustle because I need to make $5,000 a month. If that's unattainable, you definitely need to reevaluate it. For instance, let's just say I need to make $400 for my car note. And when all my bills are paid, except for the car note, I have an additional $300 left over, but my car note is $400. So I need to say, okay, what can I do to make my $300 magically become enough to pay this bill? But not just enough to pay this bill, enough that I can pay this bill monthly off of $300. Because every month you should know, after you budget, how much you would get paid. So let's just use me for sake. I would need to make $400, which means I need to make $700. I need to bring back $700 with whatever I'm going to do. Because I have to bring the $300 back, but I want to make $400. So for me, if I'm going to just, do a Foodie Friday, that means I need to sell, if I sell my platters at $12, I would need to sell 58 platters. Okay, so I need to sell 58 platters. That's going to bring me back my $700. This way I can use the $300 again for next month. And I'll have the money that I need for my small Y, which is my car note, which is what's driving the side hustle anyway. Again, your side hustle is not your big goal. It's your small goals that you need to attain, whether it be bills, vacation, or whatever. So, all right, I need to do that. So now I need to make it measurable. I already know how much it's going to be. I already know how many platters I need to sell. But now I need to figure out how I'm going to sell them, and that's where attainable comes in. So I'm going to need to find 58 people to buy a platter from me. First and foremost, I done already gave out samples. I done already brought tons of food to the church, so I know my food good. So I don't have to worry about that part. I done did the first steps. I now need to figure out, how am I going to get 58 people to buy a $12 platter? Well, number one, I'm going to post my flyer on Instagram, Facebook, and every other social media outlet we have. Number two, I'm going to personally text everybody I know that has ever eaten my food. Hey, even if it's just sending a picture of the flyer. And then all of the people who I know work places, I need to really talk to them, because then they are going to tell their coworkers. And that's my goal. That's the attainable part. They work with people all day long who, when you're at work, you typically are going to buy lunch. I mean, some people brown bag it, but the majority of people will buy. And even people who brown bag it, if they know the food is good, they still may purchase. So, all right, I have a sister that works at this job, and I know she got 50 people on her floor. My girlfriend work here. She at the hospital. This one, I need to target them. Yes, my family and friends work, but that's 1 and 2 platters. I need to find 58 people. So I need to do that fast. So if I can get 35 people from the jobs, that leaves me with 23 people. I know 23 people. My neighbors on my block, that's enough people right there. That makes it more attainable. So I think the attainable and the SMART goals is the most important part, because you really have to break it down on how and where you're going to sell or pull in your clientele or your customers. Because if you don't know how to do that part, then it doesn't matter what you're measuring. You're not going to make no money. It don't matter how specific you are. Your money is not going to come. Again, the goal here is to get to the bag. So you have to make it relevant. Okay, in the wintertime, I can make heavier foods because it's the wintertime. In the summertime, you might want to make some salads. You might want to pull it back. Whatever, if you're making bouquets, okay, it's the summertime. Use some sunflowers and some tulips. But in the wintertime, you might want to use mums. You have to make it relevant to the time, the season, the holidays, whatever it is that is going on, it has to be relevant to people. I can say, I want to make a sweet potato pie all I want, but on Thanksgiving, I'm going to sell 100 of them. But in the summertime, I might not sell none. I have to be focused on what is going on around me. And then time. If I need to make this $400 because M&T Bank is calling me about my car note, I need to know exactly how, when, and where, and how long it's going to take me to get to that $400. Any questions on the SMART goals? No. Okay. Stay consistent and track the trends. We kind of already talked about it, but we're going to go over it again. Staying consistent is a very, very big part of making your side hustle work for you. If you stay consistent, and I'm not saying like, oh, I have to do this every weekend, because that may not be how this works. But if you stay consistent, people are constantly seeing you. You are always in people's faces. People know you for your thing. People know me for food that I don't even know. I go into the hair salon and they're like, oh, you're the girl that make the crab cakes. Hi. But it's because I'm consistent. Because everybody knows that I'm going to be doing food, a cupcake, a piece of something. You got a crumb coming from Tyisha at all times. You have to stay consistent, and stay consistent with the things that work. Don't go out here and, okay, the chicken was working. Now I just want to make turkey wings. I don't want to sell the chicken. If you want to add on, that's okay, but stay consistent with the things that work. And then again, track your trends. You have to say, okay, this worked, this made me this amount of money, or this didn't work, I lost money. Keep consistent with what you know and what you see and how it works for you. Because when you keep trying to change up, people do not like inconsistency. People like to say, oh, I know if I call her or him or whoever, I'm going to get what I need. Not if I call them, they may have it, they may not, they may be able to pull it together. People don't like that. Even with side hustles, I know I don't like that. So wait, you don't got my candles? All right, go ahead. You ain't making candles this week? You go ahead. I'm gonna go there. I'm going to Bath and Body Works. Because people are not loyal. People will find somebody else who is doing what you're doing and be right out. Oh, I'm out of here. And then now they are staying consistent, and now they got your customers or your client or whatever. Oh, you didn't braid her hair right? Not a problem. There's 15 million African braiding shops on 5th Street. I can go get my hair done, and I ain't never got to come back to your kitchen again. Like, you want to be consistent. That stuff is very, very important. Be prepared. I think this is the last. Yes, this is actually my last point. Be prepared for an influx. So when you stay consistent, you track the trends, your goals are very specific and measurable and all of that good stuff, it's going to grow like you have never seen before. Like, and I'm serious when I say this. I'm gonna tell you guys a little point. I was selling platters out of my mom's house, and I've been a food person my whole life, but I was selling platters out of my mother's house, and I was just making a little bit of money, and I decided that, God, I need to talk to you because if I'm going to do this, you got to be right behind me and you got to show me that it's going to work. By the next month or two, jobs downtown. Do you hear me? Okay. Jobs everywhere. It just blew out of nowhere. And it was not an Instagram time. We were not on Facebook at the time. So I know people say, oh, if you got a lot of followers, I'm about to talk about that in a second because that's a different topic, but I'm gonna talk about it. But I prayed about it, and God sent me so many people, and my food business blew out of the water. And I was just so like, oh, okay. But I was prepared. Instead of me buying 2 pounds, 10 pounds, I was buying cases of chicken, not knowing if I was going to sell it, but I was already prepared for it. So on your downtime, if you make bouquets, on your downtime, you need to be having bouquets made that you can put up, because you never know when somebody's going to call you and say, I got somebody called me today and said, can you make cupcakes tomorrow? Sure, I can. I got tons of flour, sugar, butter, eggs, what you need, I got you, because I'm prepared. And it happens that way all the time in every business and in every side hustle. You start off slow. It may look hard. It may be something that you're not seeing a big return, but you know that it can happen. If you're staying consistent, be prepared for the influx. Like God said he was going to come and give us a life more abundant. If you are prepared, then it will happen. So I did bring up something that's not on here that I do want to talk about. Instagram and Facebook. They are just tools. I need people to fully understand that they are tools. They are not your driving factor for your business or your side hustle. I don't care if you got 2 million followers. If all your followers are not purchasing from you, that doesn't matter. You can get 2 million likes on your page. If 2 million people ain't buying, then it does not matter. It matters to be able to convert your followers to buyers. For instance, my Instagram page is not as active as my team would like it to be. I have about 300 people on there, 200 people, I don't know. But I have consistent people who will purchase from me because they see the consistency in what I do. I don't need to have 1,000 followers because 1,000 followers ain't paying me. But those consistent people, I know if I drop a flyer right now, it's about 10 people on here that's going to call me. And this is just this page right here. This is not even my Instagram, my Facebook, my text messages. This is just right here because I have stayed consistent. The food don't change. The flavors don't change. And when they do, I know, and they will tell me. Why? Because we've built a rapport, because that is also important. You have to know the people, know what they like, know how to do it, because when you want returning customers. And the way you keep your returning customers is to know your returning customers. I know right now, if I put some extra salt in some salmon cakes, Mama Wanda gonna tell me, and then I gotta go do hers over. But I already know that, so I'm not going to do hers that way. I know it's just so easy to learn people because your people will come back. And when you learn them, they will be there asking you before you have a chance to even put it out there. Do I have any questions?
Feel free at this time if you have any questions or comments to unmute yourself or put them in the chat box so that we can read them aloud. I'll give a few minutes for anybody who's,
I have a little bit of a question comment kind of thing. All these things you've given us, these tools you've given us are so on point. And while you were talking all through it, and Ebony posed the question earlier about how do you find that thing that will work for you, or find that hustle, how do you find your knack? And you talked about that earlier about, looking at the things that your skills and talents and all that stuff. And I've asked myself that question so many times. The thing I love to do is read. So, and I love to teach, but I have a 9-to-5 that's, and a vocation that is very time consuming. And I'm sitting here thinking, as I'm going through those, getting the bag steps that you had and using the SMART method, I start thinking about, oh, wait a minute, I have timeshares. Now I have to apply those principles to how I can turn that over
into a
profit.
But
And
something else that I know that you can do, because you just said you like to read and you like to teach.
Yes, I do.
Do you know how many people pay for webinars? Like, all the knowledge that you have, you find what it is that you like to talk about, that you like. People pay for webinars. That's why it's so grand that, the CE does it for free. I have so many coaching people that I follow who webinars, they do a $27 special or a $30 special, and their 300 followers is all in. Why? Because it's not expensive. They know they're going to get good information. And now you done made a profit off of just your own knowledge or stuff you've read. Like that, I think would be also a place to think about. I mean, you may have to, you have to start a YouTube channel and just start giving knowledge away. People really think that knowledge costs a lot. Knowledge is free. But if you make it very specific, and I've learned this with my life coaching classes and things that I've taken, they charge. If I go right now on the life coach that I follow that's supposed to be a mentor, she gonna charge me right now just to watch her video that she pre-recorded. Like that, because I know that you're saying you like to read and you like to teach.
Yeah.
That is definitely something that I think you would need to look in. Yes, you would probably need to grow a following, which would be where YouTube comes in, where, you get on your Instagram and you give a message of the day. Or, or whatever. It's definitely ways that it can be done and it can make the money.
Well, that's the whole thing with and I know it's just a thing with me, especially when it comes to spiritual knowledge, I give that away.
Right.
Because he gave it to me. And so I wouldn't want to do that. And on the business side, I do so much business at work. That's not fun for me.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it on that side. So this is more like me wanting to be that person in the background, that silent partner, but only these are things that I can work and not have to touch all the time, because the other two, 9-to-5 and vocation, are so consuming.
Right.
This would be my thing that would require very little of me, except for to apply the SMART method and find the way and target that attainable piece, how to get the information out that the things are available, what they look like, that kind of stuff. And once that's done, it's like me sitting back watching it work for itself. Yeah, so that's why I'm more gravitating towards that than the other one, because I'm doing the other one, but it's from a different place.
Okay.
I don't need to turn a profit on that.
Okay.
But thank you so much, because, it's got me thinking. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone
I knew
else?
this was going to be good.
Yeah, I have a question. Tyisha, my daughter, Shamira, wanted to be here today, but she had to work tonight. But she did have a series of questions. She started cooking business. She started
a cookie business.
Baking cookies.
Right.
And she's doing pretty good with it. My question, well, mixed up with what her question is, you mentioned that a side hustle is basically something outside of a business. It's something that you do on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And it really doesn't require you to get into licensing and all that other stuff. It's just extra money. So at what point does, would you say it's a, do you know it's a side hustle basically and it's not a business? You know what I mean? And what,
So
can you express that a little bit more in terms of the legalities?
the first thing that she, regardless of it being a side hustle or a business, what she definitely needs is insurance. Now, I have a food insurance that I pay. It fluctuates with the amount of people that I'm going to serve. Regardless of it being a side hustle or business, that part she definitely needs because she's feeding people. And you don't want anybody to get sick. And now they're coming after her because they got sick.
Insurance. So how does she, what kind of, how does she go about insurance?
It's still going to be called casualty business insurance, but you don't have to be licensed for it. I've had it for years before I became an LLC.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Great.
That's the first and foremost, and I can always, me and her was talking earlier, so I can definitely give her some information on that.
Thank you very much.
But when when you want it to become a business, it depends on it mostly depends on the size of people that she will be servicing. So when I'm servicing weddings and big parties, that's when I knew, oh, Tyisha, this is no longer just making food for my friends and family. This is really becoming a business. This is people I don't know and that I want to come back. This is me needing to be able to brand myself. And people, as soon as you see that purple cupcake, people know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, now when I'm having bigger events, I got more insurance as opposed to that small policy that covered my residential kitchen.
Okay.
So it just depends on exactly who she's serving and when. But the insurance piece, she needs that regardless of it being a business or a side hustle.
Thank you.
And she said she had more than one question. What are her?
Well, yeah, well, she did. She had a whole series, but most of them related to business. She wanted to know what were the challenges? What are the challenges of starting a business? What were your challenges?
So with starting the business, my challenges were time, because the difference between a side hustle and a business is that you have to do your business and your 9 to 5 at the same time all the time. Right. A side hustle, I can just do that on the weekend. If I just want to make cupcakes on the weekend, that's okay. But if I want to build my business, I need people to see that I cook all the time. I need people to see that I'm doing this consistently almost every day. So for me, it's kind of easy because it's food. So most of the time you'll just see my dinner, my lunch, or what I'm eating, or what I've served to other people. But with it being just her side hustle, then she's just doing that on the side. It's just on the weekends, or it's just Friday night, I'm gonna bake 10 batches of cookies and I'm gonna sell them on Saturday. Where when I know I'm doing it as a business, I have to, my planning starts Monday for an event on Saturday. Because now I have people I need to manage. I have things that I need to go out and buy. I have, it's just the list becomes way bigger than just a little side hustle. Like I said, for the food platters, I go shopping Thursday night. We cooking on Friday. We good to go. But if it's an event, now I need to know, are we going to do the linen? Are we doing centerpieces? Are we fully setting up? Like it becomes more, I guess it's more task that you have to do when it becomes a food business. And then again, you need to become licensed. You have to have proper refrigeration. You have to have your proper EIN numbers and, everything that you would need for a normal business, you need for a food business. So I need a license. I technically need a commercial kitchen. That's why I'm in the process of converting my home kitchen. Like it has to be certain things where, like I said, with a side hustle, that's just something she's gonna get up on the weekends and do, or a business she's gonna properly plan and know exactly when, where, how, and how many people she has to serve.
Okay, another thing she asked was, how do you keep track of what you serve and what you receive? I, I, I guess she's saying inventory and versus, you mentioned some of it in terms of your
Your
profit.
the cost ratio.
Yeah, yes. You mentioned that earlier.
So
So
it's
could you
basically, it's really, really
expand on
simple.
that?
It's how much she's spending versus how much she's bringing in. And you don't calculate your profit until you have made the break even point. Anything after the break even point is all profit. Anything under the break even point is your loss.
Okay. And how long did it take for your business career to take off? I think you kind of mentioned that at the beginning.
That's a very good question. Let's think. I'm gonna say I been started cooking for weddings and bigger events way before, probably like 13 years ago, but it didn't fully take off until maybe 8 or 9 years ago, like where we were consistently doing big parties. So, 12 years ago, we might have just been doing a party here, nothing for 6, 7 months, or, but then it became almost every month. About 9 years ago, we used to have something every month going on, to a point where I had to start, pulling in staff and having not just 3 people. I need 6 servers. I need people in the kitchen to do the dishes. I need people to, wait on the tables. It just grows. It grew organically. Okay. But I'm going to say it's probably about 9 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Yes. When you have a growing business, when do you know it's time to bring on staff to help you out? Like it's no longer just an independent thing. And how do you treat the staff once you have them on board?
Just if you don't know anyone, this is a staff member asking this question. Actually, this is a management team person. So I am feeling attacked right now, but I'm going to answer the question. So when you want to, you need to grow when you start to hate it. That's the only clear answer. When I started feeling like, I'm not taking on no more events because it's overwhelming. I'm not doing anything else because I'm the only one cutting these potatoes and peeling these shrimp. And when that part happens, that's when you're like, okay, it's time to delegate some of these responsibilities. Either that's what's going to happen, or you're going to get to a place where you're like, I can't do it all, and now your product is slipping, or your whatever your side hustle is not as great as it was when you started out. At that point, it's time to pull somebody in and start delegating some of the responsibilities. Just even if it's just a minor stuff. Like I said, for me, it was, I don't want to cut these potatoes no more, and I don't want to peel this shrimp because the party is so large. Even if I did 2 shrimp per person for 100 people, that's 200 shrimp that I got to peel. So if somebody else can be doing that, now I can be over here stirring this pot. So once you become either irritated, because even if you love it, there will become a breaking point where you're like, I may not want to do this anymore. And that means, you need to pull somebody in. And as far as how everyone is treated, they should be treated with the utmost respect and love and care. But no, you treat people how you want to be treated. Just even if they work for you. For me, it's not a Tyisha business. It's a team business. It's a family business. It's a family side hustle. When, I do something, my whole team is doing something, and we're all doing it. They know that I'm not just the person in charge. If they're doing it, I'm doing it too, because you lead by example. Anybody else?
Tyisha?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So since I'm new to this game and I've already made several mistakes, that, by the way, guys, I had to call on her to get answers to some of my questions. Okay, so in that creating the plan portion of your presentation, would I need to, first of all, set up a totally separate, I guess, page or site for what it is that I'm doing, as opposed to just constantly putting stuff on Facebook, because that's how I basically started it.
So,
and I'm finding that that's frustrating, because not what I do is frustrating, but how I'm getting it out there, because those who know me know that this OG is not tech savvy at all. So my son is coming, hopefully, on Saturday to help me set up a site or whatever, but I just, go ahead, answer my question, because I'm just.
So, yes and no. I say, yes, you need another page if your personal page is private, because at that point, you're only talking to your family and your friends.
Right.
Here's the thing. Your sphere, they may not be as loyal as you think they are. Outside people will be more loyal to you than some of your family and friends when it comes to business. And it's a shame, but it's the truth.
I get it.
So you want to reach as many people as you can, because that's how you're going to get the money in. You want to get as much money as you possibly can make. But if you're only constantly talking to the same people over and over, they may not be interested this month for what you have. They may not need you again for a couple of months, or, so now you're really talking to dead ears. I say, yes, get a page that you can leave open, that it can be as public as possible.
So a public, okay.
It's geared towards the business, and anything that you want to put on your private page that you don't want people that you don't know to see, that's fine, because the two are separate. I have 3 different pages, and I often sometimes forget which page I'm posting on, so I have to go back and delete personal stuff off of business pages, but it keeps it organized. Okay. Like, okay, if I'm on the Tyisha Jett page, that means I'm about to talk about food. I'm about to talk about food. I'm about to post a picture of food. I'm about to post something pertaining to the business. But I do also still share everything on my personal page as well, because you don't want to, leave out the people that are your friends in your circle, but you definitely need to be able to reach that outside audience that don't know you, but that are following you and that's liking your stuff. And then when they need you, they're going to call you, because again, you're staying consistent on that page. I'm probably more consistent on the food page than I am on my personal page. Y'all see a picture. I bless the timeline every now and again, but on the food page, I would have more food coming up than I would on my personal page.
Okay.
So yes, Mama, you got to get a little bit more tech savvy.
So that's so that would be my way of reaching out to all possible outlets.
Right.
Okay.
And because when you set up your business Instagram, everything I post on Instagram on the business page bounces right to Facebook. I don't have to do a double post. It automatically go there. Is there.
Okay, so that would probably be the better way to do it.
Right. Mm-hmm. I actually think that because I know what you sell and I know other people have actual products, setting up an actual store like on Etsy would probably be the best bet for you. Because again, people are coming to Instagram just to see what you have, or coming to Facebook to see, and they like it. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, that's so nice. When they go to Etsy, they go on Etsy because they want to buy. So when they go on your page, they didn't already typed in reefs, and now your page has come up. So I would suggest setting up an Etsy store. Okay. And again, Etsy is a store that you don't have to have an LLC. You don't have to be a legal business. You just get on there and sell your stuff.
Okay.
Excuse me, what is Etsy? I don't know what that is?
It's called Etsy, ETSY. It's just it's an online shopping center.
Uh,
Like basically, that's the only way I can put it. You can type in, if you go on Google, like I type in cookie cutters all the time. I got $100 cart sitting on Etsy right now. And I was able to get all of these cookie cutters from random people who are making cookie cutters. I didn't have to buy from one person. I like this one. I like that one. I like this one. I put them in my shopping cart, and when I go, I'll pay it out, and everybody at Etsy will pay them people, and I'll get my products.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Ty, I remember you were saying that you were saying about if you needed to get insurance for like selling food, but if you decide like to sell like products, like body products, like lotions and stuff like that, do you need insurance too? In case
I definitely would say yes, because anything that is going on your skin, on your body, in your body, yes. Okay. I even suggest people who braid hair or curl hair or whatever, I would suggest that they get the insurance too. It's the casualty insurance. My company is called Next Insurance. Mm-hmm. And they have, when you click on it, it's a long list of people that can get insurance. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, you be to burn somebody, you know, their skin have a rash, a breakout or whatever.
NEX.
What you say?
NEX or NEXT?
NEXT.
Okay. Yep. Thanks, Ty.
No problem. Anybody else? Any other things that you guys want to know?
This is Sharon. I need to know when I'm going to get a platter. I'm hungry.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, don't ignore me, ma'am.
Yes, that's my question too.
I've been waiting for food for. I need a platter and I need my
cookies.
No, not the city cookies. I need my meal plans. I'm over here getting fatter by the day.
Okay,
thank you.
So the oven is up and running, so I'm getting my life together. That's why I'm so excited to bake this weekend. Food wise,
you had a lot of Fridays go by.
Yeah, they have. Food wise, I'll give you TBA. I'll let you know.
TBD, to be determined.
Yes, there we go.
Date to be determined. Okay.
All right, guys. Well, it's
time twist spinning with different ideas. I'm on Instagram now looking up different people that are trying to do the same thing that I'm thinking about.
Right. But it's thousands of people.
Excellent tip. Excellent.
It is. It's, you definitely got it. Like I said, McDonald's, Burger King ain't did nothing that McDonald's ain't do.
Do that.
We gotta see what's already working. Now, McDonald's and Burger King need to do what Chick-fil-A does. They ain't following the mold. But look at the difference in it. Chick-fil-A it's just an amazing company. They're making so much money. They only have one product, so they streamlined it. They are consistent with that chicken. We never going to Chick-fil-A for a burger. You're going to get there. They're outside of the box. They found the niche. They know what works. Mm-hmm. Burger King, on the other hand, has followed McDonald's and always seems to be a step behind, in my opinion. Oh, now they got a 4 for $4. Here you come with a 4 for $4. Oh, now they got this. Now here you come. Whereas somebody else who has looked at the model, and the reason I know is because I know the years that they've come out, because I looked it up. McDonald's has been out before Chick-fil-A. So at some point they were like, okay, that store has a drive-through, that store is working, but McDonald's serves everything. We don't want to do that. We want to stick to one thing and do that one thing well, and that is okay. Wow. People think that you got to have a ton of products, you got to have a ton of things. You don't. If you do one thing well, people will be okay with that one thing because then they know you for that thing. You don't have to be the jack of all trades. I'm a jack of all trades, so just take it as I'm saying it. But you don't have to be that person all the time. Find your thing, because again, this is not, if you're building a business, different story. But if we're on a side hustle, find that one thing that's going to bring this money in and get this bag and pay these bills and go on that vacation or do whatever you need to do with this extra money. That's it. We don't have to do everything all the time. Certain things work for certain, situations.
All right, well, we are 5 minutes past the hour. So if we could all just thank Miss Jett for all of her knowledge today, give her some snaps, some claps, some raise the roof. And we don't know what that is. It sounds different. It sounds different when you're on here. No. Okay.
Thank you.
In the chat, because she definitely gave a wealth of information, definitely some tips to absolutely help you get started with your planning process. And I know she's definitely open and willing to continue the conversation with those who need it. So Tyisha, I don't know if you want to give your business email in the chat so people can just continue to ask you questions, or you can reach out to the CEE and we can relay any messages over to her, so that you can continue to get the information that you need to start these side hustles. We all have financial goals in life. And so getting that side hustle, like Tyisha said, might be the difference between you going on that vacation next year and maybe not, right? Because you have responsibilities at home. So we hope that this information that was provided today helps you get one step closer to that goal that you have envisioned for yourself.
So, can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I know we made the distinction between a side hustle and a business. Do not think that you, A, can't do both at the same time, because I'm living proof that it can happen. And B, don't think that you can't take that side hustle and develop into a business, because that can happen. It's just that you got to start somewhere. And if you need the money now, do something that you need to do now. I would rather you guys start a side hustle, make the money, pay for your kids' piano lessons, pay for whatever, and handle that, than try to do this big grand scheme of building this business, filing all this legal paperwork and doing all this stuff and then not make no money. So let's definitely start small and with the side hustle and build it to a business if that's what your goal is. Because everybody needs wants that financial freedom, which is what a business can do. It gives you freedom financially and freedom through your time. But it takes a lot to get there. So I just wanted to throw that tip out there as well, because that's important.
Amen, amen. Okay, so with that being said, I'm just going to again post all of the CEE's information into the chat so that you can visit us, hear more about what's going on, and even reach out to us with more questions about starting that side hustle. Again, our website is lovezion.org/CEE. On the Love Zion website in general, there is a page that highlights some of the businesses that already exist in Love Zion. There are a lot of entrepreneurs at Love Zion, a lot of people who have started small businesses or side hustles. So reaching out to any of those will definitely yield some good results. Also, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, this video will be slimmed up, cut down, and edited nicely and added to our YouTube page. So once it's there, feel free to share it with your family and friends, people you know who couldn't be here today, so that they can get this information as well. And lastly, but certainly not least, next month, so like I said, this is a series that we have been running since about March or April, and will continue through the rest of the year. Again, aim to bring information, knowledge, and a platform for us to discuss these things that will help us reach our financial goals, economic freedom within ourselves, our communities in the greater Philadelphia area and beyond. I'm in Virginia, so mine is beyond. But our next workshop is actually going to be for our first-time home buyers. But I would like to add a caveat that he is going to be talking specifically about first-time home buyer programs and things that exist right now. But even if you are not a first-time home buyer, but you're just looking to get another home or get back into a new home or whatever the case may be, there's definitely going to be some information here for you. So our guest is going to be Leon Dales III. He is with Berkshire and Hathaway. He is a real estate agent that is young and upcoming in the business, and he definitely has a lot of information to share. I've added a link to the Eventbrite in the links that I've already shared, so you can take a look at that link and already start to register. I believe it's open, or it will be open tomorrow, so that you can register for that event or share that information out. And again, hopefully we see you next month. But continue to keep a lookout for all of our events throughout the rest of the year. We still have a bunch of events that are coming up within the last few months. So feel free to share that information and be a part of these financial workshops. All right. With that being said, thank you everybody so much for coming and spending this last hour or so with us. Thank you, Tyisha, for your wealth of information. I sent you a cash app for 75 cents. And we just thank you, family and friends, for always supporting us and for spreading the word. We love you and have a great evening, and we'll see you next time.